Obviously with each new generation, we get developers that are going to talk up that particular new generations, the new innovations, the new technology, all the things, the wonderful things that come with a new console generation. And thankfully, Sony seem to be doing things right, and everybody is very excited by what they're going to be doing. So it should come as no surprise that Sony's own first parties are talking about things and maybe letting a little stuff out of the bag that they didn't intend to release this early, but it's still fun to hear nonetheless. And I do feel like Sony has a lot going for it in terms of actually offering a full next generation upgrade, whereas on the Microsoft side, it doesn't really seem like they're going to do the same thing. They're more or less trying to get as many people to use the different devices that they have and things like that, which I think will probably work for them, but it's just not exactly what a lot of the core gamers want. So Sony's developers out there spilling some beans, if you will, but it's still going to be an exciting video, and I can't wait to talk about it because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button. I would appreciate that as well. A simple like goes a long way. Shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, everybody in between. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. You're amazing. This is unscripted. I'm Crapgamer, of course, and I listen to you guys, what you guys want to see. You wanted some new gameplay, you wanted some unscripted stuff, you wanted longer videos, you wanted things to be fun, you wanted things to be explained in an easy way, and that's what I'm going to do. So I really thank you guys for joining me on this ride. It's absolutely amazing. The best thing I can say is hit the bell, hit the like button, all that kind of good stuff. It's much appreciated. So we know that the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X are almost upon us. Weird that we don't have release dates or prices yet, but still I think it's really an interesting factor when you think that we're getting all these games are going to be coming forward. And again, I see the pros and cons for ending a generation and starting a new one and continuing one on. For me, if you can still continue one on, then why come out with a new piece of hardware? That's just always how I've kind of looked at it. And then Sony, of course, looks at it as, hey, we got to get as many people on our console as possible, as quickly as possible. I really kind of prefer that way because it doesn't look like they're kind of cheaping out and saying, hey, well, we can really still run this stuff on our old stuff, but, we're going to sell you new stuff anyway. Like for me, when I'm playing The Last of Us 2 or I beat that and I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima, like you're playing these games and you're like, my PS4 Pro is really loud and you can tell it's kind of chugging along and you're like, man, we need some new hardware. I think that that's kind of a given, and I really prefer that approach. And then when I buy a PlayStation 5, you're not going to get stuff that's going to be held back by the old stuff. So I really prefer that approach. But again, I see both sides of it. I see where Microsoft realistically understands that they can't compete with Sony, and so they want to start next generation with they want to keep the 41 million Xbox One owners that they have, and whatever it is on the PC. I understand that completely, but with that being said, one of the things that excites me the most is actually being able to see what these developers are able to achieve on these new pieces of hardware. And so we have that, and this is an exciting thing because this is one of Sony's biggest and best first-party studios and one of their studio heads, and so that's exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for somebody who really was in the know of what's coming down the pipe, and to talk about it, and we got that, and I think this is really, really cool. So for me anyway, I really think that God of War director Cory Barlog is one of those people. He's a prominent figure on Twitter, a real leadership guy, if you really think about it. So there's a lot of these developer teams and directors who aren't real leadership quality, and I'm not really trying to take shots, but some of these are on the Xbox side, Bonnie Ross. I don't really consider her to be like this huge outspoken head of Halo. I just don't. I consider the leadership at 343 to be rather weak. Whereas when you see, Cory Barlog, that he's really out there, kind of taking it to the streets. You know what I mean? Like he's out there doing things, saying things, responding, interacting with people. It's the same way with Neil Druckmann from Naughty Dog. It's like that's the kind of leadership that you need, to take the hits from all sides or whatever, and listen to the fans and stuff like that. So when he talks and he talks about the PlayStation 5, you tend to kind of listen and stuff like that. So we know new console generations are also super interesting. It's very exciting. We're getting new IPs, leaps in technology, intriguing, interesting things from these companies. On the other hand, developers obviously have to start optimizing for a brand new set of hardware just when the current gen has been figured out. So if if you get back to what I'm saying, God of War came out in 2018 and looks phenomenal. Even on the base PlayStation 4, it looks absolutely incredible. And I feel like, I've sort of felt like this with the Xbox 360, PS3 era. Towards the end there, 2012, 2013, games were looking better than ever, in my opinion. And I didn't, even though I was excited for the next generation, I didn't really want that generation to end because we were getting so many games, and developers had gotten it down to a science. And I was kind of right in a way when I was starting to think, developers, look at the games we got. We got 3 Mass Effect games, a couple of great Dragon Age games, 3 Dead Space games, 4 Gears games, a couple of God of War games. It's like developers had the hardware figured out so well. It was 3 Uncharted games. Developers had these pieces of hardware figured out so well that they were able to just come out with these great games time and time again. And we didn't get that. We didn't get, we got 1 Uncharted game. We just still got a bunch of Gears games, but they weren't good. So basically we got 1 real Halo game, a new one anyway. It's like, no Dead Space games, 1 average Dragon Age game, 1 below average to average Mass Effect game. It's like, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, I really think that developers love that time when you have great saturation with the hardware, meaning sales, and then you have great franchises and developers who know how to take advantage of them. I've never been a person to say, oh, well, give me less of this, less of that per se. I feel like maybe Gears of War, which was my favorite franchise last generation, should maybe take a little bit of a break because they've really gone out of their way to sort of ruin that franchise, in my opinion. But with that being said, any possible comeback is possible. Like God of War Ascension was kind of mediocre in my opinion, and they came out with a totally revamped God of War this generation, and I loved it. So I kind of believe what Corey Barlog is talking about. So they're talking about what he's doing and how developers are optimizing. He discussed a couple different things along with about the PlayStation 5. And he was actually talking about this with Project Athea's writer, Gary Whitta, and he noted that with every generation, he said, it always feels like we master the generation right, and then it's like, oh, there's a new one coming up, and you're like, but I finally got this one, but I think it's going to be a little bit different this time. It feels like we've got a really good foundation of understanding, so transitioning between generations is going to be a little bit less of a massive leap of faith. Nevertheless, Barlog said he's always a little sad when a generation changes. I feel like all the cool tricks that we learned, now we have to learn all these new tricks, which is great, that's fun, but you feel a little bit less in control of things. Thankfully, with the PS5 and the next generation in general, developers won't be going back to square one when it comes to mastering technology. As for what excites him about the PlayStation 5, Barlog felt that solid state drive was just amazing and believes there's some really cool stuff I think we're going to be able to do. So basically, he goes on to talk about how they have as little load times as they do. If you go back to it and think about God of War, it was like all in one specific shot, and that was something that was really, really cool that they were able to accomplish. So I can imagine the next God of War not having any kind of loading or anything like that, which I think would be just absolutely incredible. And I also think that they'll be able to, do even bigger world sizes and things like that. I think everybody is waiting for that next God of War. It was just such an intangible, incredible piece of artwork. That's what I consider. I don't even consider it to be, anything but art. And they did such a good job with it. I absolutely can't wait to see what they do with the next one. And clearly, he's going to be at the forefront with that, using that technology. You would imagine that Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and Insomniac have all the tools that they need when it comes to the PlayStation 5, so they fully know what they're going to be working on, and they're fully kind of excited and expected to be doing some fantastic stuff with the hardware. So that's what I get really excited for when he's talking about, hey, well, we're able to do this, and the hardware itself isn't limiting, and it's not as bad as it's been in previous generations where we got to totally start over. So what this means, if you're looking for, hey, crap, what does this actually mean? Well, it means that the technology isn't going to take the normal couple of years to get full advantage of it like it does in previous generations. Like a lot of people say that when they're defending or they're being an apologist for the Xbox Series X. They go, well, nothing good starts coming out for the first couple of years anyway. Like, okay, that's not the case all the time, and this is clearly one of those instances where it's not the case, because they're saying, no, we can push the envelope right early on with the generation, and we're already starting to see that with some of the games that we've seen on the PlayStation 5. So far, nothing on the Xbox Series X, but hopefully that can change. Hopefully they can go all out with like Halo Infinite, I really feel like Halo Infinite, would have been their chance to really showcase it. And I'm a little bit disappointed because I had heard from people that Halo Infinite was an absolute showpiece and was one of the best looking, the best looking next generation game that we'd have seen to this point. So yeah, it's hugely disappointed to see what we actually saw with that game. And I can understand, especially for single player. Like, you maybe expect the multiplayer to look bad, but the single player you would expect to really them have gone all out, and the fact that they didn't is a little bit disappointed. If you're new to the channel, I always link interviews and news stories in the description below, and that's what I did here. If it's an opinion piece, obviously I don't need to link that. If it is something that is, a rumor or leak, I link that if possible. If it's something somebody told me in, private, and I can't, I'll tell you to take it with a grain of salt. But this was a very interesting read. I definitely implore you to check it out. What are you guys excited about? Are you excited that we're going to get games that take full advantage of the PlayStation 5 almost right away? I don't know. Sound off. Rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live, MOH, Space Crapgamer, PSN, just Crapgamer. I'm always willing to talk gaming with you guys, even if you disagree, even if I disagree with you. It doesn't really matter. It's just video games at the end of the day. Stay safe, happy, healthy. Rack 'em up. Game on, everyone. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.